You're watching Cars.tv.
My name is Matt Goist. I'm the curator and collection manager of the Singleton Collection here in Costa Mesa, California. Will and Carrie Singleton entered into the hobby rather recently in terms of car collecting. They bought their first classic cars near the end of 2021, and it was something that they had talked about doing for a really long time. And, it was kind of in the midst of COVID, and some other projects that they had going on in life had gotten off their feet, like their foundation. So they said to each other, hey, why don't we go ahead and start that car collection? They realized they needed a collection manager, and Will had put quite a few different advertisements in car club magazines and Hemmings. Carrie, his wife, put an ad on LinkedIn, and he said, you're never gonna meet somebody on LinkedIn to manage classic cars. They found me on LinkedIn, we linked up, and we kind of hit it off right away. So 7 weeks later, I was living here. Our collection is rather diverse, even though we do focus on the American car. So, the car has influenced society and society has influenced the car. So we kind of tell the story from the turn of the century, the beginning of the automobile in this country, all the way to the 1970s when things kind of started to get pretty mass-produced, heavily regulated, and so on. So right behind me, we have our 1914 Mercer Type 35J Raceabout, and next to it's a 1963 Cobra CSX 2135. And as we go down the road, there's, some sports cars, an AMX, some V12 Lincolns, pretty good lineup. So the Mercer and the Cobra are two real special cars here. They both are kind of the driver's car of their era. So when I was in high school, I found McPherson College, which is the only 4-year bachelor's degree involving classic car restoration in the country. I was fortunate to get accepted there, and right after college I began this hybrid of restoration work and collections management that I did for 5 years in Pennsylvania before moving here. I feel honored that I was able to bring that college relationship into the fold with the Singletons. We participate in McPherson's internship program. So every summer we have a few students here that get exposed to the cars, they work with us, they're getting their hands dirty, they're learning how to drive stuff that they've never been around before. So it's really worked out well. It's even resulted in full-time employment here.
My name is Ernest Skehan. I'm an intern here at Singleton Collection, and I'm a mechanic here. Last summer, I was up in Redding, California with a Aston Martin shop. I had some buddies who were already here as interns, and I went to Pebble Beach and I hung out with them all week. They were a little bit higher up than what our shop was. My dad had told me about McPherson because growing up, I was pretty hands-on. I just tried to fix everything that I broke as a kid, which I just didn't want to get in trouble, actually. So I started working in a machine shop for one of my dad's buddies, and everybody learned that I was pretty good with the mechanical knowledge, and it was second nature for me. And so we were trying to find something to do that would also let me get a college degree. This is a 1931 Marmon 16 5-passenger sedan. We are working on the carburetor. It is a fairly rare carburetor to work on. There's not very many parts we can find for it. Motor runs strong, has great compression, but we are having some flat spots at heavy throttle, so we're trying to work through that. But with one set of jets that we can get, we were just kind of having to take two carburetors and try to make one good, and it's been pretty difficult to do. Post-college, I would like to go either work for a collection, be a collection manager, or start my own parts business, using my machinist background to build parts that you can't get anymore. So stuff like the Marmon carburetor parts.
This is our 1935 Duesenberg Model J. It's bodied by Rolston Company, which is based out of New York City. This car is pretty special. It's on the long wheelbase chassis. It's the only disappearing top roadster that Rolston built on this chassis. It was owned by a woman named Isabel Townsend Pell. She was a New York City socialite and kept this car for quite a few years, even took it with her to France. Unfortunately, the car didn't make it back with her from France. It came back later in the 50s through a collector in the United States. Isabel became famous because during the French Resistance, she led troops to safety under the alias of Frederica. Some other things that are neat about this car: the hinges on the door, the Rolston handles, and the really severely raked windshield that gives it quite a sporty look. The early to mid-30s was really the height of coach building in the United States. It was a carryover from the days of the, horse-drawn carriage. It was a talent that existed really prevalently in the United States. An individual could purchase a chassis, and then they could send that chassis to the coach builder of their choice to have a body designed just for them or to pick something out of a catalog that they offered.